What if I told you that some people simply disappear? Not run away, not found later, but genuinely vanish from the face of the earth, leaving behind absolutely no logical explanation? Today, we're diving deep into three of the most mind-bending real-life mysteries where individuals stepped into thin air, leaving us to wonder, did they run? Were they taken? Or is there something far stranger at play? Get ready, because these stories will challenge everything you thought you knew about reality. Alright, let's kick things off with a case that, personally, has always sent shivers down my spine, the Mary Celeste. When you think about it, it's not just a ghost ship story, it's a masterclass in impossible circumstances. Imagine, back in 1872, a brigantine named the Mary Celeste was found adrift in the Atlantic, completely intact. All her sails were set, cargo perfectly fine, a full 6 months of provisions on board. Even the captain's logbook was still there, up to date until a few days prior. But here's the kicker, not a single soul was on board. Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and 7 crew members, gone. Vanished. No signs of struggle, no distress signals, no storm damage that would explain an abandonment. The only things missing were the captain's sextant and the ship's single lifeboat. This isn't just weird, it defies maritime logic. Why would experienced sailors abandon a perfectly seaworthy vessel in calm waters, especially with their families on board? Every piece of evidence points to a rapid, inexplicable departure. It's like they just hopped off for a coffee break and forgot to come back, except they never did. Now, let's move to something a bit more chilling, and definitely closer to home for some of you, the Dyatlov Pass incident. This isn't just a group of people disappearing, it's a group of 9 experienced hikers in the Ural Mountains of Russia, found dead in the most bizarre circumstances imaginable. In February 1959, their tent was discovered ripped open from the inside, their belongings scattered, and they were found kilometers away, in sub-zero temperatures, many without appropriate clothing. The autopsies revealed things that make no sense. 2 had fractured skulls, 2 had broken ribs, 1 woman was missing her tongue and eyes. And get this, some of their clothes contained high levels of radiation. Official reports listed the cause of death as a compelling unknown force. A compelling unknown force? This wasn't an avalanche. The tent was still standing. This wasn't an animal attack. The injuries were too precise, too brutal, and there were no large animal tracks. Personally, I've always found the radiation aspect of this case particularly bizarre. It's not something you just stumble upon in the Russian wilderness. It paints a picture of extreme panic and a desperate escape from something. But what? Finally, let's talk about a vanishing that hits close to our modern fears, Amelia Earhart. The iconic aviator who disappeared during an attempt to circumnavigate the globe in 1937. She wasn't just some amateur, she was a skilled pilot with a meticulously planned route. Her last known position was near Howland Island in the Pacific. Despite one of the most extensive search and rescue operations in history involving ships and planes, no trace of her, her navigator Fred Noonan, or her Lockheed Electra 10E plane was ever found. No wreckage, no distress signals after her last radio transmission. The ocean is vast, yes, but for a plane of that size to simply vanish without a single piece of debris washing ashore or even a confirmed oil slick, it's highly improbable. This isn't just about a lost plane, it's about the complete, utter lack of any evidence. It's like the Pacific just swallowed her whole. The lack of any definitive answer, the sheer silence after her final communication, really makes you wonder if something truly extraordinary happened out there. It's a puzzle with too many missing pieces and zero answers. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. There must be a logical explanation for these things. And you're right to be skeptical. Human nature craves answers, and for every mystery, there are often very grounded, albeit sometimes unsatisfying, counter-arguments. Let's revisit the Mary Celeste. While the ghost ship narrative is captivating, some experts lean towards a more practical explanation, a sudden, unexpected event like a small internal explosion from alcohol fumes, or perhaps a fear of one. In this scenario, the crew, in a moment of panic, might have deployed the lifeboat, intending to wait out the perceived danger, perhaps connected to the cargo of industrial alcohol. Then, a sudden squall, or even just being separated from the ship, could have led to their demise. The missing sextant and lifeboat do support this. It's plausible, but it still doesn't fully explain why they didn't try to get back to a perfectly fine ship, or why no bodies were ever found. The ocean is vast, yes, but still, a sudden, collective, fatal decision based on a momentary fear seems thin, given their experience. Regarding the Dyatlov Pass incident, the most widely accepted scientific theory today involves a rare type of slab avalanche. Not a massive, roaring avalanche, but a delayed, slow-moving slab of snow that dislodged directly over their tent. The theory suggests this slab of snow would have been relatively silent, but powerful enough to damage the tent and cause panic, leading them to cut their way out. The injuries, fractured skulls and internal trauma, could then be attributed to being thrown against rocks or trees in the dark, possibly while disoriented from hypothermia. The radiation? Some argue it was from contamination from a nearby Soviet nuclear testing site, or simply residual from handling military equipment, which wasn't uncommon in the era. It's a compelling argument, and academically, it holds a lot of weight. However, it still doesn't fully explain the missing tongue or the bizarre patterns of clothing and lack of footprints leading away from the tent. And compelling unknown force still sticks in my craw, officially speaking. And for Amelia Earhart, the most common counterargument is simply that her plane ran out of fuel, crashed into the Pacific, and sank. The vastness of the ocean, the currents, and the depth would explain why no wreckage was found. Radio navigation in 1937 was rudimentary, and miscalculations were common. The Howland Island area is notoriously difficult to spot. It's a sad but logical conclusion, a tragic accident. However, the advanced radio equipment on her plane, the experience of her navigator, and the sheer absence of any debris after such a massive search still leave a lingering doubt for many. When you think about it, even small planes leave a trail of debris. A metal aircraft of that size should have something identifiable. While these counterarguments offer logical frameworks, they often leave us with secondary questions. They simplify the complex details, sometimes overlooking the truly anomalous elements that keep these cases firmly in the realm of the unexplained. So, where does that leave us? We have compelling narratives of inexplicable disappearances, and equally compelling, yet sometimes incomplete, logical explanations. The truth, as often happens with true mysteries, probably lies in a nuanced space somewhere in between, or perhaps entirely outside our current understanding. For the Mary Celeste, while a sudden panic scenario is plausible, the complete disappearance of the crew and the pristine condition of the ship still present a confounding paradox. Could it be a combination of factors? A small, terrifying event causing a hasty abandonment, followed by an unforeseen weather phenomenon, or a navigational error leading the lifeboat away from the ship, then simply succumbing to the elements? The empty ship phenomenon is rare, but it does exist. This is speculative, purely for entertainment. Do your research if you take it seriously. It suggests that, even with rational explanations, there are always layers of uncertainty. The Dyatlov Pass incident is arguably the most unsettling because of the direct physical evidence. While the slab avalanche theory is the most scientifically robust, it struggles to fully account for all the injuries, the radiation, and the psychological state implied by their actions. Some researchers still entertain more fringe theories, from infrasound causing panic, to even highly experimental military tests that went wrong. The fact that the initial Soviet investigation concluded with unknown compelling force is a powerful indicator that even those closest to the scene couldn't fully rationalize it. It really makes you wonder, if it was just an avalanche, why such an official, bizarre statement? And Amelia Earhart? Her disappearance highlights the limitations of early 20th century technology against the vastness of nature. While a crash and sink scenario is probable, the romantic and tragic nature of her final flight, combined with the absolute lack of recovery, feeds into the mystery. Recent expeditions using advanced sonar technology are still searching for her plane, and every now and then, new, unverified pieces of debris surface, reigniting the hope for answers. It's a testament to how some stories just refuse to be forgotten, constantly demanding a resolution. Personally speaking, I think the sheer scale of the search and the advanced tools they had even back then should have turned up something. That's what keeps it a mystery for me. These cases, whether simple accidents or something far more complex, serve as potent reminders of the vast unknowns that still exist in our world. They underscore the limits of our perception and the persistent allure of the unsolved. They challenge us to consider possibilities beyond the immediate and the obvious. They're not just old stories, they're ongoing questions. So, after diving into these incredible vanishings, what do you think? Are these just tragic accidents, extreme coincidences, or is there a deeper, more profound explanation waiting to be uncovered? Do stories like the Mary Celeste, Dyatlov Pass, or Amelia Earhart's disappearance make you feel like there are things out there we simply aren't meant to understand? Or do you believe every mystery has a purely scientific explanation, even if we haven't found it yet? Let me know your theories in the comments below. I read every single one, and some of your insights are genuinely mind-blowing. And if you're as fascinated by the unexplained as I am, and you want to keep exploring the weirdest, most baffling real-life mysteries with me, then hit that subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss our next deep dive into the shadows of human experience. If you crave answers to the unanswerable and you're ready to question everything, then click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Together, we'll peel back the layers of the unexplained.